A big rip to Xbox servers. A huge amount of fixes are coming. What is going on with the Nintendo Switch port? And a new ending to ARK Extinction. You're right, kids, it's Ross Clark and welcome to your regular ARK Community News. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So first things first, Xbox and Windows 10 had a big issue yesterday. Apparently, a lot of people were having issues connecting to official or unofficial servers. The good news is, this was because of a certification issue with Microsoft. However, the devs got on top of this, understood the issue, and have now rolled this out to computers or consoles. So you now should be okay by now. If you're not, they do have a workaround by saying try shutting down your application and turning off your console for about 10 seconds, then rebooting the console. And apparently that'll work. But it should be fixed by now. Of course, it's a bit sucky that it happened during the Gen 2 launch. Of course, everybody wants a bit of that Gen 2 goodness, and to have a little stint kind of sucks. But it happened and it seems to be rectified now. So hopefully you should be good now. If you're not, drop a comment below, let me know. I really want to know if Xbox and Windows 10 are all up and running now. Everyone needs to be playing a bit of Gen 2. So fixes, there are many fixes coming. There are a lot of bugs out there that I've seen you report time and time again. Now the biggest ones of course is overall stability and crashing. There's a lot of crashing issues going on at the moment, especially in regards to missions. A lot of people on console anyway are crashing on particular missions. So my advice is don't do the missions just yet, especially as progress is being lost. A lot of people have come to me to tell me that their missions all reset, and they've reset time and time again. During this initial rollout, I would just hold fire on doing those missions. They're not going anywhere, of course, unless you want the rewards, but the drops are apparently pretty decent enough to get stuff from. But not everything, but I'll get to that in just a second. As the main man Jat from Wildcard released an update on what they're working on, so you know and I know what's happening next. So as I mentioned, stability is coming from both a client and server perspective. If you're not aware, client is of course your end and server is of course the PC that the map's been hosted on. And there's a few crashes going on either way, depending on what you do, what happens. So they're fixing that, they're going to rectify those crash issues. Bees are coming! I've got a confession to make. So I did a recent taming guide on how to tame every new creature in ARK Genesis 2, with a prominent thing being used to tame the Noglin, and that's honey. To coax it out with honey and lure it away. Now I didn't know at the time that I had a mod installed that was allowing me to have beehives on the map. And I've since found out nobody has beehives. They're nowhere to be found apart from in the odd drop. And of course you need your honey, especially for veggie cakes. How do you make veggie cakes without honey? And it's been fixed. We are soon going to see beehives on all of the maps, including dung beetles. Dung beetles are making a return as well as a keratin or chitin option in the corrupt cave from the meat plants, which of course chitin is a bit rare. I mean, you can kill the many mantises that are in Rockwell's garden at the moment and the odd carcinos in the tech trenches, but you'll have a new option to harvest these from meat plants in the future. And talking of mods, a lot of you have come to me to tell me that rock drakes are spawnable on this map. Now I want to clear it up, and I certainly don't want to throw the person under the bus. Jotun Bandit did a video on where to find these rock drakes. So following this, I tried to replicate this myself for the longest time and I couldn't get one to spawn. Then I spoke to John to directly understand what had happened. And after a lot of digging, he found out it was related to a mod he had installed. Now, on one hand, it's such a shame, as it's literally the only creature that Genesis 2 doesn't have. Like, I don't know if you saw my video last night, I went through all of the DLC creatures from the previous maps. Go check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. And rock drakes are missing, and it's a shame that this isn't a real thing, because if it was, it would have been awesome that they spawn on one particular space void rotation. That would have been a really cool, effective thing to do. So it's really rare to get them, but it's not. Sadly, it's a mod. However, it is a mod, and you can have this on PC if you want to. So I'll leave a link to John's video in the description. Go check it out if you want that mod and you want rock drakes on Gen 2. So primitive supply crates. Yes, unfortunately, since Gen 2 launched, pretty much every BP out there is in a primitive form. You can't craft decent loot from your BPs anymore at the moment. This is only temporary, and sadly it's wildcard's end. I've seen so many unofficials having this issue and saying, what is going on? Fix your BPs. We can't. Unofficial server hosts can't do a thing. It's related to something wildcard's end. But it's coming, they're aware, they're going to fix this as soon as they can. They're still looking into it, which means I'm not expecting anything fixed soon within the next week. Which in a way, I guess at least slows that progress a little. Not the answer you're looking for, I know, but it's coming. They're aware they're going to fix it soon. Mesh roles, or mesh holes rather, and false positive anti-mesh deletion dismount, so that's people meshing. It's going to happen. It's a new map. Fully expected that there's going to be mesh holes. It happens with every map, I know. Every single new map that comes, we get a bunch of new mesh holes. It's simply you, the community, and your ingenuity on finding the most bizarre random mesh holes that are around. However, as we know with every map that's been out before, they do fix it eventually. I know it sucks, and you'd think, why haven't Wildcard fixed all these pre-map launch? Considering the amount of work and effort put into this, it's such a shame that that's one thing they seem to overlook. I don't want to throw them under the bus too much, but the point is that they do fix these eventually. So even if you see these and think, oh, that's a nice place to build, don't. Because eventually you're either going to get seen and wiped by a GM, or your mesh hole base is going to be patched up and then you're stuck in there and everything you've put in that mesh hole is now screwed. So don't do it. Don't do it. So the hex store only selling engrams and not the resources is intended to maintain the fresh experience that will change at a future date. That's a big surprise. So yeah, if you've tried to buy any resources from the Helena store at the moment, you can't. You can only buy engrams currently, which I thought was a bug, and a lot of you thought it was a bug. Apparently it's not. Apparently it's a thing that Wildcard intend to do. I'm very surprised by that, but there you go. However, on single player, I know you can certainly use the shop, but officials, you can't. It can't be done. There was an Xbox chat issue that was due to the recent changes that took place yesterday, and the dev team have said that they're going to fix that today. And Strider mission requirements on console is being investigated, likely to roll out with the console client patch. That's one I'm not aware of. Perhaps the requirements are too high. It's a pure guess. However, your mission requirement issues will be resolved soon. Jack did say he's going to update this list as and when if you want to know what else is being worked on and patched, so I'll leave a link to the official ARK Discord so you can check this out for yourself. So a Mr. Johnson MLBB got in touch with me regarding the ARK Nintendo Switch port. If you don't know about the Nintendo Switch port, one exists, it's out there, but the support is questionable to say the least. And Johnson came to me to let me know that the Nintendo Switch version had an update recently, but in doing so, boom, servers gone, no servers can be found. They don't exist anymore. Now, it's a major concern because of the support. If you're not aware, this was originally supported by Abstraction Games, who now don't support it at all. They moved it over to Nintendo Switch, and then they've had no involvement since then. And apparently, nor do Wildcard. So who supports it? It's a real concern that we don't know what's going on with the Switch version. Somebody has to support this, surely. I did do a bigger deep dive into this in a previous video. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to know. If you want to know what happened between Abstraction and Wildcard Studios. But if nobody's supporting this, who is? So we're left to assume support has to be coming from Snail Games USA. Now, I don't know how we get in touch with them. I don't know. You can try and tweet them, but they don't reply to any messages. There's no replies to anyone. So there needs to be some form of contact. Snail Games, Wildcard, if you're listening, please allow me to at least offer a contact to people who are playing the Switch update to let them know what's going on. Are the servers just fully down and that's it? Or is there an update coming out that's going to resolve Switch? It would be really good to know, with Switch having no updates over so many years now. But then to have one to drop out the servers, just to let those players know what's going on. They deserve to know. Wildcard, Snail Games, anyone, please, you've got to tell these players what's happening. They're all sat in the dark and they just need answers. So I hope you can deliver that. And lastly, Extinction Ending has changed. Well, sort of. The voice of Helena, aka HLNA, has now been changed by Dora herself, Madeline Madden, who of course voices Helena in Genesis Part 2. They've gone back to the Extinction Ending, implemented her voice into this ending, as well as a lot of the notes. Neddy the Noodle, a good friend of mine, covered this in depth. Go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description, showcasing this new ending and going into detail about these new notes. And if you're interested in anything lore-wise, go check him out too. He covers so much about the notes and the lore, and of course has his own cinematic rendition of the notes. It's worth checking out. But that does make me think, Scorched Earth, Ascension. If the devs can go back and change the ending to Extinction, why can't they give us an Ascension ending to Scorched Earth? They should. It's now lore. I appreciate this was made way before a story was actually created. But you've gone back and changed Extinction. I know it's just voices and this would be a physical animation, but so many people ask for this. So many people want an Ascension ending on Scorched Earth. You don't have to give them levels because of course you're only fighting the Manticore, but I do think they should have just some form of cinematic when you beat the Manticore for the first time that sees you go from there to Aberration. Let's wrap it up. Let's make this a true story from end to end and complete ARK properly. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed this. Comment below if you did. Hope you're excited for the new patches incoming. I know I am, BPs especially. I need them fixed. My name's Ross Clark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, what am I doing? And as always, peace out.